a rebroadcast of our Facebook Live Alaska Live Chat. Please join us every Monday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, on our RVing to Alaska Facebook page for weekly live chats where we discuss everything RVing to Alaska. Let's get us. I think, oh, wait. Now, can you see us? Sorry, this is all new to us, so we are just working on this. I see the microphone. Oh, I think, there we go.
You didn't mute yourself.
I'm learning. This is a new program this year, guys, so we are learning, and thank you for bearing with us. Let's see, I think, yes, okay. Can you hear us now and see us? I think so. Let me turn this back on. I think I can hear me. Yes? All right.
Oh, okay, we got it.
Woo! Welcome to season 2 of
RVing to Alaska.
Alaska Live Chats.
Ooh. Oh, this is season 2 of Alaska Live Chats.
It's season 2.
Wow, this isn't just season 2 of RVing to Alaska.
When we started this last year, we had no idea this was going to become a thing.
No, not at all.
But everyone really enjoyed it, so we brought it back. And welcome to the River House production studio.
This is what we kind of threw together to hopefully have a place to be every Monday night when we do these lives, or whenever we do the lives. We'll be up here with you guys in the studio, and well, this is where it's all going to happen, I guess.
Yeah, we are taking the winter off from RVing and going to stay at our home base this winter, with a few side trips planned here and there, flyaway vacations to beat the winter blues.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why we put the time and effort into this nice little studio. But anyways, let's just dive deep in. Welcome to the RVing to Alaska Facebook page. That's where you're viewing this video from. And from here, we have several group pages, which tonight officially launches our RVing to Alaska 2020 group. We've already got, I think, 1,500 members in that group.
Amazing. They've been going on for the last few months as well.
Yes. I think we opened up this group in March or April, but it's been kind of just quietly building and a little chatter here and there, but we'll really start ramping up with the chatter moving forward from tonight on. So if you're already a member of our RVing to Alaska 2020 group page, thank you and welcome. It's going to be a great year of planning together and traveling together.
Now, just for reference, for the new folks, can you maybe inform them how many users we had on the 2019 group?
Our 2019 group, we had well over 4,500 users by the end of the season. I think it started around the 2,500 range. So as people travel, they learn about us, and people just share the group to other people as they're learning.
Right. And now those are just users of the page. They weren't necessarily there wasn't necessarily that many travelers in Alaska with the page this year. I would assume probably about a 50% of that.
Correct. Our groups, now the 2020 group is our 4th Facebook group. It started in 17 when Gary and I first made our trip to Alaska. 18 had a group, 19 had a group, and now this is our 4th year of the 2020. So if you're not members of those past groups, we encourage you to join them because you can get a wealth of information. Because what these groups do, we are a collaboration, and all the members share information. It's just not Gary and I.
Absolutely not. It's the community that helps out.
It is a community. And in fact, in 2020, Gary and I will not be RVing to Alaska.
Right. We'll be with you in RVing to Alaska, but we're not actually physically taking our RV to Alaska in 2020.
We'll be following and lurking down here in the lower 48 as all of you that are making the trip in 2020.
We might get a bit jealous.
We'll get very jealous. We are going to fly to Alaska.
Well, that's in February.
End
of February, first part of March.
But we're not going to RV to Alaska in 2020. But so you'll learn how this group operates by looking at our past groups. We also have a really great group of moderators that have been with me
Us for a couple of years.
From the start,
Yeah.
from 2017, and every year I add in a few more people. And our moderators really keep a tight ship.
Do you want to go over some of the rules real quick with that? Just to get a basis of how the page should work?
Well, if you read our rules and regulations, it's right on the group page. It's going to make it very easy. But basically, we allow the members to start posting travel reports as soon as you hit the Canadian border and northward.
Mm-hmm.
And then while you're in Alaska and as you come back down into the lower 48. We try to stay on topic as much as possible because, you know, you probably belong to a lot of groups. There's a lot of side chatter, things that just really have nothing to do with the topic.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to keep this on topic,
okay,
on RVing to Alaska or RVing through Canada, because that is why you're here. Right. We don't let very many memes come through. There's no politics. Posts can and will be deleted if they are not fit to be in our group.
Well, and the reason for that is this is a very specific group. We want to focus on RVing to Alaska. We don't care about what the political scene is at this point. We don't care about what your adventures are through the wheat fields of Wyoming or wherever you may be. You know, we just want to talk about getting from Canada, Canadian border, north to Alaska, and then back south to the Canadian border.
Now, you may see there might be a couple posts here and there that will specifically ask, hey, where are you starting from? We just started one of those last week. Those are appropriate. Just watch when they come out.
Well, and with those, when you see that where you're starting from, look for your city and see if there's anybody else starting from the same area that you live in, and maybe you can kind of maybe join up with them or get to know them ahead of time and schedule meetups as you travel.
Now, another fun way to schedule a meetup is an RVing to Alaska RV decal.
Oh, we have those.
We have those.
Yes, we do.
We are in our third season. Every travel year gets a new decal. Mm-hmm. Last year was some bear paws that said RVing to Alaska.
We don't have one up here, do we?
We sold out
completely. That's right. We don't have any to show you.
By the way, if you were a 19 traveler and want the 19 decal, it's for sale for one more week on our website. I'll put links below for tonight's internet resources. But one more week, you can post order a 19 decal, and we'll get those out to you by the end of the month.
Right.
But
that's a last minute order. Once it's done, no more, zero. But you have an announcement to make with the 2020 decal.
Hold on.
Yeah, there's some good stuff going up right now.
I got ways to do this. Look at this.
Oh, what are you doing?
Picture back to us.
So there's the decal. RVing to Alaska 20. That will be the decal that you are able to purchase and apply to your RV or your tow vehicle, however you desire.
Now, I was trying to get this up and available on our website before the broadcast started, but I ran out of time. So as soon as this broadcast is over, I will go and turn on all of our 2020 merchandise, including the new decal for 2020. And Gary, do you want to explain how people use this in 19?
The decals were really a great source of community. So we had almost 1,000 decals sold. Not quite that many.
No, less than 200.
Let me get the numbers right. We had about 200 decals sold. So what these folks did is they put the decal on their RV, either the front or the back of their RV or their tow vehicle, in a visible spot. And as you drive through Canada to Alaska, if you see an RVing to Alaska decal, stop and knock on their door and introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm a member of the group. And there have been dozens of friendships created because of these decals.
Yes.
And these folks have been traveling together for months now because of this decal, the community that has been created because of the actual Facebook group and all that. So
I have to say the community is so strong. We have two friends parked in our driveway right now that we met through the group page. They just entered the lower 48 today.
They left Alaska late.
Yeah, they like closed the door behind them pretty
Right.
much. All right, so moving on.
So if you can, check out the RVing to Alaska decal on the website. Purchase a couple. It's actually a very good resource to get to know people on the road as you travel and establishing that community, because there's nothing better than finding friendship on the road and developing that community. So look for the decals as you travel.
All right, so we're going to move on now, and the first topic of our live tonight is the best planning tools for you to use as winter hits and you're just dreaming about Alaska.
Yep.
A couple things you can pick up right now to make your trip that much more planning ready. And the first thing, like I said, is our RVing to Alaska groups,
Right.
the past groups. There's so much wealth of information there.
And now you're leaving those groups up. You're not gonna kill those groups. You're just gonna
Correct.
You're gonna eliminate. Are you gonna turn off commenting and such?
No, because if I archive the group, then no one can join it.
Great.
So just keep in mind those groups are kind of, the chatter's slowed down. If you have questions, come to the 2020 group, because that's really where everyone's going to learn information.
But if you have a concern or a question, maybe go to one of the previous groups and find the search bar at the top of the group page and type in the area you're questioning, type in the MailChimp or something like that, and read through the posts that you receive from that. There's a ton of information in those older groups.
Another source that we just started is we do have an RVing to Alaska 2020 group on our village. So if you use our village, you can also use that. I don't moderate that very heavily, but a lot of people use that to also find each other as they travel along the road, because that's a location app that you can check in, say, hey, I'm in Kelowna, BC. Anybody else here?
Right.
So
right.
Look for that. Your number one resource that I recommend is your milepost. This is the Bible of RVing to Alaska and for Western Canada and Northern Canada. It's a little consuming.
It's not a book you're just going to pick up and read cover to cover. It's divided into highway sections, and basically it follows the highway as you travel by mile.
So like when you're at the Alcan, you hit your odometer, reset it to 0, and you're at mile 0, and you can follow it all the way up. As you're traveling, if you see a mileage marker or a kilometer marker, you can find where you're at in this book. And this tells you of interests in the area, campgrounds, restaurants, tours, roadside attractions.
There's just an abundance of information in that book. It's just amazing.
The book is a little spendy. Between, like, right now you can pre-order this. It's $34.95, I believe, on Amazon. It will not go into print until March. So if you pre-order now, when this goes to print, you'll automatically get the copy when it first comes out. You can also buy this in bookstores, gas stations, anywhere really. As you work your way up, you'll see these for sale. The
current year, the 2019 year, is still available, and between the two different 2019 and 2020, there really isn't that much difference. So if you're one of those folks who really like to start planning early, you probably could go ahead and pick up a 19 version and be just fine. The 2020 will just have a little bit more information about maybe the most current road conditions and maybe the most current opens and closures on some of the road houses and stuff.
Yeah. In 17, we traveled on a 16 book, and we only found a few little hiccups.
The lodge, or the national park in Eagle,
Alaska. Anyways, but I highly travel with both. I mean, the traveling with the current year is nice because it does give exact dates when things should open.
Right, and that's the biggest difference.
If you are like me and you don't want to wait, pick up a 19. We do have this on our Amazon shop. If you'd like to support us for free, you can go through our affiliate links or Amazon.com/shop/Pau Hana Travels. it gives us a small commission on your purchase, which it doesn't cost you anything. But we have a whole store there with all our favorite Alaska gear, and you can go check that out.
Right.
Another thing to pre-purchase in advance is good old paper maps.
There is nothing better than paper.
Now, your milepost is going to give you a giant map. This is only 1/4 of the size to give you an example. But paper maps are going to be key because there are going to be periods of time when you are without cell service or your GPS might, on your phone might not even work. Paper maps are invaluable. And this is one of our favorites, especially in Alaska, because it shows where public lands are.
Well, and it shows a lot of it shows every road in Alaska, and to include the dirt roads and some of the smaller trails and everything too. So you can find your way to almost anywhere you need to go. And there's nothing said about paper. It's just it is a preferred way to look at your route. Sometimes your technology can fail, and you always have to have a backup. So it's nice to have paper to kind of get an idea of where you're going, and you get a chance to look at the bigger picture.
Yes.
On your phone, it's only that big. Your atlas is a lot larger. So.
But with technology, there are some good technology apps to start planning your route as well. And that's including Campendium.com, freecampsites.net,
overnight RV parking.com.
That is a paid subscription.
RV
Parky is another one. Yeah. A lot of your main apps that you use to find a campsite in the lower 48 have a pretty good list of campsites in Alaska, because those of us that have been up there the last couple of years have done a really good job of updating them.
Well, and for example, there's one campsite we found in 2017 that was just an amazing campsite, and it wasn't on any of the radar. It wasn't on any of the websites and Campendium and stuff like that. And then people started using it, and now, more recently, that property has been taken over by a private entity and has closed that property down. And they closed it down before we even knew they did.
Yeah.
I mean, we were getting reports from people in, I think it was June, they were camping there. In July, they couldn't.
So things change.
And users report those changes, which is really nice with some of these websites.
Another way to pre-plan is YouTube videos. Now, I'm going to do a little shameless plug.
It's not shameless. It's very shameful. We love it.
We have our own YouTube channel, Pau Hana Travels. We have over 80 videos from our 2017 travel summer to Alaska. And yes, 2019 videos will be coming throughout this winter. Right now, if you go to our YouTube channel, we're still in Canada making our way up.
We haven't even made it to Alaska yet, according to YouTube.
And the next video or two will be in Alaska. However, there's other great YouTubers out there that have put out some wonderful content. Last year, our friends Nate and Marissa with Less Junk, More Journey.
Yep, in 2018 we're up there.
Long Honeymoon's been up there. Motorhome Experiment.
Jonesing to Travel.
Jonesing to Travel.
Aaron and Tina.
Morton's on the Move right now. Are currently,
I think they're still up there.
I saw there in Stewart.
Oh, okay.
And Hyder today.
Okay, so they're making their way south.
So yes,
so they've done actually a pretty good job.
They've done a wonderful documentary.
Their travels and very, very cinematographic content. It's very nice of them.
So yes, if you want to just put in RVing to Alaska on YouTube, you're going to see a whole bunch of content creators other than ourselves, because this isn't just about us. Right. This is a collaboration.
It is a collaboration, and we want to encourage all the YouTubers to put their stuff together and do their videos and have their time in Alaska too, and show it off, because it is worth it. Alaska is an amazing, beautiful state, and it's not just about Alaska. You got to take some time through Canada too, because it's almost equally as beautiful.
That's another topic.
I know. We'll get to that later.
All right.
Okay. So
moving on. Okay, I think we covered all the things there. Yes. So we're going to go to our next topic item, and that is, when will you go to? How will you go to Alaska? Are you going to caravan? Are you going to rent an RV, or are you going to wing it on your own?
Or are you going to take a marine highway?
No.
No?
That's coming up
That's
later.
That's a different one.
He's jumping ahead.
Well,
there's a lot of people. You probably already know the way that you're going to go.
Yeah.
However, our page mainly focuses on doing it on your own. This isn't a paid caravan tour. However, we do know of some great tour companies that do that, where they do all the planning for you. But our group, our channel, our videos are going to help you do this on your own.
On your own, and in your own RV, preferably.
So, and we do have a lot of people that rent RVs and use our resources to help them, because that's got to be scary.
Well, yeah. So these rentals they're flying into Anchorage and renting an RV for 2 weeks or whatever it is, and they're doing
a lot of times they've never been in an RV.
They've never done it, so they have no idea what they're doing in an RV.
So we want to help you as well learn the ropes of being an RVer and etiquette.
We're not catering. So we're catering to the wide variety of RVers, from the newbies to the very well experienced. So we're trying to keep it at a G-rated RV knowledge rate kind of thing. That makes sense.
So that's one thing you probably already know how you're doing it. Tell us in comments below how you're going to go. Are you going to do it alone? Are you going with friends? Are you going with a tour company? Or are you going to rent?
Are you keeping your big fifth wheel at home and taking a small camper van? Or are you taking your 45-foot diesel pusher up? Because that's not a problem. I would not hesitate doing that.
Yeah, we see every make and brand up there.
Yeah, take what you're go with what you're comfortable with.
All right, next item. Let's see, there it is.
Options. Talking about different ways to go.
Well, there's basically 3 ways that you can go, and our next week's topic is we're gonna dig into these 3 options.
Right.
You can either go up the Alcan, which is like the eastern route to Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Where you come up through Alberta and you start the Alaska Highway in Dawson Creek at mile 0, right on the BC-Alberta border.
Yep.
From there, it's 1,422 miles.
We did every one of those.
To Delta Junction, which is the end of the official Alaska Highway.
Mm-hmm.
It does continue up to Fairbanks, or you can go south down to Glen Ellen on the Richardson.
The other option is up through the Cassiar, a more western route through some of the western mountains in British Columbia. And then that route will actually join up with the Alaskan Highway just outside of Watson Lake.
Yes. Now the Cassiar is kind of like the stepsister of the route, because a lot of people are scared of it.
But it's just it's an unrealistic fear, or an unneeded fear of the Cassiar.
One thing, it is a lower elevation route up or down. So for example, today there's a big snowstorm on the Alcan where they've got pretty good coverage, where the Cassiar doesn't have the snow yet. So the lower elevation is helpful. What people are scared of is it's 450 miles of 0 cell signal, except for if you detour off and go into Stewart.
Right.
Because there is cell signal in Stewart, which is a 40-mile detour.
It is a very remote route. And with that, you do have to consider your fuel consumption through that route as well. There is fuel all along the route, but you just have to make sure that you can go 200 miles at max?
There's fuel within every 150 miles.
150 miles. So it is a bit more remote route, but we've done it twice. We've done the Alcan twice. We've done Cassiar twice, and they both have their extreme beauty about them.
The Cassiar is my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Cassiar.
Cassiar. You'll hear it all.
Ways. The other thing, I was going to say something else about, the Alcan too does have big distances without cell signal, basically between Fort Nelson and Watson Lake, which is a big chunk of miles too. Mm-hmm. So the Alcan is preferred by most, but honestly, the Cassiar is my favorite.
Well, and the Cassiar is narrower. and there's not as much shoulder. You know, when you see the photos of you traveling up the Alcan Highway, you see the highway, you got, you know, lane going each way, and you've got, you know, 200 yards of median on each side of the highway. It's so open and so wide. You don't see that with a Casa R nearly as much.
No, so when people say it's narrow road, that's really the only difference. You don't have
it's narrower
50
shoulder.
feet of shoulder, and it's really not drivable shoulder. It's just mowed down grass, so you can see, for example, the bears quicker.
Right. And I guess, you know, the other option besides, if you don't want to drive all the way, the other option is the Marine Highway.
That is the third option.
It is there. We haven't experienced any of that. Well,
no.
I take that back.
We took the Marine.
We did a 6-hour tour, didn't we?
We did.
A 6-hour ride.
So a lot of people will get on in Seattle.
Seattle, Vancouver. Seattle or Vancouver.
I think, yeah, they can get on.
Or Bellingham.
Well, maybe there is a situation, and I will be more informed on this by next week. Prince Rupert used to have a stop on the Alaska Marine Ferry where people would drive halfway up BC, jump on the ferry in Prince Rupert, and do the inside passage to Southeast Alaska, and then get off in Skagway or Haines. Right now, there is a security dispute between Canada and the United States, and they have taken Prince Rupert off of that route.
Off of the port of call list.
So if that is something you're planning to do, starting from or ending at Prince Rupert, you're going to need to pay attention and follow that news, because this is a change.
Right, and it's
October 1st.
New information. We don't have all the information yet. This is just something that's come up very recent.
Now, the Marine Highway is a great way, especially to see Southeast Alaska, because all of that is landlocked. You can only drive to Skagway or Haines, and you have to do that through Canada. But it is very expensive, and it's more expensive than the fuel it would take. But some people still, they want to see that. I don't blame them.
And it may not be, you know, if you decide to take the Marine Highway, it may not be a consideration of expense. It may be a consideration of the experience. And
it's beautiful.
We've done cruises to Alaska, and it is amazingly beautiful. Southeast Alaska, amazingly beautiful. So if you want to do the Marine Highway, it is an expense, but it's also a different experience that you'll ever see driving to Alaska.
Yeah. And if you're like us, maybe you decide to park the RV, put it in storage in Seattle or Vancouver, or vice versa up in Alaska, and take a cruise through Southeast Alaska so you still see it, because there's also some other disadvantages from it, especially if you have pets traveling with you. But again, we'll get into that next week when we discuss the 3 routes in detail.
So when is the best time to go to Alaska? I mean, or come back from Alaska? How long do you want to stay in that beautiful state? How long do you want to stay up north?
Well, it just depends on the person. If you're going to rent, most people are only up there for 1 or 2 weeks.
Not enough time.
Even that, just flying up, it's not enough time. Nope. Alaska is huge. Even though it's a fairly small road system, it is big distances to get between places.
Right.
It also depends. Do you want to experience the midnight sun of mid to late June?
That'll put you in experience midnight sun. You want to be as furthest north as possible. So up in Fairbanks in mid-June, you know, so you have to consider leaving the lower 48 maybe a little bit earlier to get there.
Or do you want to stay later and experience the Northern Lights, which we saw our first Northern Lights, I think August 24th, which was super early.
Way early. That was way early.
We were lucky. But if you stay at least through the beginning of September, you're most likely going to have a chance to see the Northern Lights. There's a lot of variables. The Earth atmosphere has to be right. The weather has to be right.
The sun has to be right.
The sun has to be right. But those are things you've got to think about. If you're going to spend a solid 3 months up there, then you're going to be able to experience both the midnight sun and the Northern Lights.
And one thing on, if you want to leave early, there are a lot of campgrounds that don't open up until
May 15th.
May 15th or so. So we know that there have been several people in the past that have left the lower 48 or crossed into Canada on May 1st.
I'm sorry, I'm going to retract that. Memorial Day is usually when things start.
So it's even later.
Yeah.
So people have left the lower 48 and have experienced campgrounds that have been closed on their way up, and they don't open up until Memorial Day or so.
Yeah.
So you really need to plan that in your travel plans or itinerary if necessary.
Or you want to be able to boondock.
Or boondock.
Know how to boondock. And that's going to be another topic coming up later in the winter where we'll discuss what you need to do to properly be prepared to boondock. Or are you an RVer that needs to be plugged into the post every night and you enjoy those amenities of RV parks? That's going to determine when you're going to go north and when you're going to come back south.
Well, and then coming back south, you also have to consider British Columbia has a very strict winter tire and chain law starting October 1st.
October 1st through April 30th.
October 1st, if you're for our situation, we're a Class A diesel, we have to actually carry chains in our vehicle.
Or snow socks.
Or snow socks, some sort of traction aid device after October 1st. We have to have them regardless of weather conditions or not. Personally, I don't think I'd ever want to put those on my rig.
No. And we've always said we will never leave before May 1st, and we will always be back in Washington by October 1st because of those requirements.
And honestly, that leaves you a very large window to experience everything that you need to experience in Alaska. You will see the midnight sun. You will see the 4th of July events. You will see Aurora within that time frame. So it's a very big window.
All right.
How much is it going to cost?
Finances. Let's move on
my
here.
Gosh. I bet you have a slide for that, don't you?
No, I have.
Yeah.
I missed the last agenda item. We'll put it up there.
Okay. So
finances. How much is this going to cost me? And honestly, our best answer is however much you want to make it.
However much you're comfortable spending. You know, your largest expense may be fuel, but your largest expense could be camping.
Or food. It just it depends. You've got to realize from the Canadian border here at Washington to Anchorage is 2,400 miles one way. So you've got to figure fuel prices and how much fuel you're going to consume just getting up there. And then you have the road system in Alaska, which actually your fuel expenses, if you're not moving all the time, is not going to be as expensive. One, it's cheaper up in Alaska too than in Canada.
Yes. BC fuel is Canada fuel. BC, Yukon, Alberta, all their fuel is more expensive.
It's highly taxed. It's
fuel.
about $1 more than what you're going to see in Alaska or the lower 48. And it also just depends on the year. 17 fuel was really, we averaged $2.35. 18, it was about $1 more. This past summer, we averaged about
probably
$2.89,
$2.90,
right in there.
Yeah, less than $3.
There's ways to find, you get the rewards programs with Fred Meyer's or Kroger. Safeway has a great rewards program, and there's a couple of Costco.
Well, there's 2 Costco's now. There's 3. There's the Costco's in the Fairbanks, Costco in Fairbanks, and the Costco's in Anchorage.
2 in Anchorage. So you can find cheaper fuel. You just have to work at it a little bit.
Yep.
Tours are going to be costly. And one thing that you can save is there's 2 tour books. The Alaska Tour Saver is one of them. You got it upside down.
I have it it's right side up to me.
Right there.
Oh, right that way. That's not.
And the Tour Saver.
Right. There it is.
You can buy on their website. We'll have links for it later. But that is specifically for tours when you're up in Alaska.
And a lot of those are 2-for-1 deals.
A lot.
Which work great if you're a couple.
This year, I noticed there was more like a certain dollar amount off. It wasn't all 2-for-1s.
Okay.
For 2020, the Northern Lights coupon book is back.
Oh.
I have been in correspondence with the new publisher.
That's good to hear.
And they are for sale now. I've put links up on the page, and I will put that in our internet resources tonight as well. That's another great book. The Northern Lights is an everyday coupon, so you can find restaurant coupons, oil changes,
haircuts.
He needs one.
Yeah.
As well as your tours.
Right.
So those two coupon books in conjunction, you're going to save a lot of money. In 2017, we saved over $1,300 using those two books.
And we spent about $1,300 in tours.
Yeah, all our tours were 2-for-1. So you can also make this the most expensive trip of your lifetime too. As we said, it's what you make it.
And you don't have to do every tour out there. We did 3 flight tours this year, and it was amazing. And there's still some that we didn't do, and we'll do them next time, because there's always, with us, there's always next time. We do plan on going up again in the future. We don't know when exactly, but you don't have to. If you're like us, you don't have to plan everything in this first trip, or maybe this is your second or third trip. However it may be, there's always the next time, and leave it open, because Alaska isn't necessarily a one and done kind of thing.
No,
do it often.
It does something to your heart and your soul, and it pulls you back.
It changes you.
It does change you.
Yeah. Love it.
Anyway, sorry. Okay, next topic. These are just, again, we're going to dive deeper into these as we get through the winter.
Kind of just flying through this introductory for right now, and we'll get more detail later on.
But emergency preparedness. This is another thing that people talk about all the time. Medical insurance, roadside assistance plans, medevac insurance, satellite communications.
Phones, texting devices.
These are all things you want to start kind of doing your homework on. One, if you are a Medicaid recipient, Medicaid doesn't work in Canada. So you need to look and maybe see if you can get some trip insurance for medical. Medevac is important to us just because you can be in some severely remote areas. Right. And the only way if you're in an accident, you're going to get help is being put in a plane or a helicopter.
Well, and with that, you're in a very remote location and you want that helicopter to come to you because you have an emergency. You need a satellite communication device to have that communication. So we've used the Garmin InReach system in the past.
Yeah, a lot of people.
It's been a very nice program for us.
A lot of people wonder, do I need a satellite phone? And those are very expensive. Not only expensive to purchase, but then your monthly plan. This year we traveled with the Garmin InReach device. They have several different options. This one ran us about $400 for this body, for the technology. And then we subscribed to a plan that for $30 a month, we could have up to 40 text messages each month that we could send out in case of an emergency.
So we can go into more detail with that later on.
Yes.
We're just kind of covering it now.
But this might be
something
an
you want to
option
consider.
You might want versus an expensive cellular actual phone, satellite phone. We actually used this on day 3.
And for a legitimate emergency.
Yes. We were able to communicate when we were out of cell range. He had to drive to go get parts, and I was able to communicate with him and find out his ETA of getting home so I could make him dinner.
It was great mac and cheese.
But we also use this when we were out fishing and staying in constant communication with each other. I could track where he was on the boat. Is great. So
it's a great emergency device.
We'll talk about this in the future, but these are things, again, that you want to just do your homework on. The
medevac insurance is I think a no-brainer. $75 a year?
No, it's not even that. Like $59 through life Med, Alaska, I think.
And they will respond and evac you from anywhere in Alaska, to include Western BC and Yukon.
Northern BC.
Northern BC and
Northern
Yukon.
BC. Well,
So
again,
that's
we'll
another
get
great
into
opportunity to look at.
But those are things that we'll be discussing in the future.
We kind of already,
and what you need to start planning
right.
for.
We've already kind of covered this next topic you have here on the sheet.
Yeah.
Tour Saver Northern Lights.
Tour Saver, yeah.
So let's. I'm sorry. I'm getting over a man cold, as she calls it.
No, the man flu.
Yeah. I was a blob of nothingness on the couch for like 4 days, and today is the first day I've kind of felt alive. So I'm bear with me a little bit. I'm still getting through this. I've got a kind of a throat thing going on. Anyway, advanced reservations. You know, are you the planner type who wants to have a everyday set and plan and where you're going, or are you the person who want to just kind of go and figure it out?
We're the later, and it can be done.
Absolutely can be done.
You do not need to book every stop unless you are an RVer that likes to be on the coast and have your RV park. Then yes, especially in mid-June through August, if you need to be in a park, then you need to make those reservations. Yeah. However, if you can wing it, if you're like us, we like maybe occasionally go into the RV park, but mostly boondock. And no, when you go up there, a lot of your campgrounds are still boondocking. You're not hooking up because there's no power. All the state park, well, not all.
No.
Most of the state parks are no electricity, no water. You're going to have to go find the dump stations, which is really easy. And we'll discuss that again in the future. But
for the most part, reservations, there is definitely a busy time from mid-July to mid-August. I'll say mid-July to mid-August. Alaska's just full of RVers, and they're everywhere. It's hard to get a reservation.
If you want to be in Seward on 4th of July,
make your reservation last year.
Basically. If you want to go into Denali National Park and camp in one of their campgrounds,
January 1st.
Actually, I believe they open up reservations around December 10th.
Okay.
Watch the page because I'll be making announcements as soon as I know dates, so you know when you can go and make your reservations.
There is an abundance of boondocking available in Alaska. It's maybe sometimes not easiest to find. And maybe a fire will close those locations that you want to go to. You have to be aware of that. But there's a lot of boondocking available. You don't necessarily have to make a reservation anywhere you want to go. If you want to be somewhere for the big events, the 4th of July, the Midnight Sun events,
Salmon
Fest, and stuff like that, you do
Midnight
need to make
Sun and Fairbanks.
You do need to make those reservations for those big events, definitely. But if you're just going to fly by the night, wing it, have fun, and enjoy life as each day is given to you, do it. And that's how we've done it last 2 times we traveled up there, and it's been great.
And a lot of times, if we needed an RV park, we could call the day of or the day before and get in.
And
we
maybe it's not a premier
away.
site, but
yeah,
it worked out fine.
And I have to say, Alaska is one of the most RV-friendly states in the Union. They make it very easy. It's easy to find water. It's easy to find dump stations. Yeah. It's pretty easy to find propane. It's not going to be difficult. Right?
It's not. People stress about making the reservations and all that. And when we needed to, we called up same day and got reservations. It was not too big of a deal. So where are we going from here next, Babe? What are we doing with this?
Well,
you got a whole schedule planned out, right?
I do. For the next month,
amazing.
I pre-planned this. I had a lot of time when we were driving down the Alcan.
Did you really? Well, I was driving.
You were driving. Yeah. I was just sitting.
So just so you know,
I made it.
How many days? We left Anchorage on
a Monday, and we arrived in our home driveway the following Monday.
So 8 days.
8 days.
2,400 miles.
And it only took us 6 days to transit Canada.
6 days through Canada.
It was a fast.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we covered some miles.
So upcoming.
Not recommended, by the way.
If you guys have questions for us, now is the time to start putting them below.
The last 10, 15 minutes of these sessions, we'll try to answer some questions.
Yeah, we're at the 15-minute left.
Perfect.
So,
perfect. So you want to go over the next couple of topics here, and then we'll get into questions.
So next week, we are going to discuss getting there, the Alcan, the Cassiar, or the Alaska Marine Highway.
And that'll be, we kind of breeze over that. It'll be more in depth as to, the cities, the townships, and
points
cellular coverage, and this and that. So we'll get more details on those.
Yeah, internet connectivity is a big one
deal.
that we'll be discussing.
Yes.
October 21st, if you get it, these are all Monday nights. We're going to come to you live every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. October 21st, we are going to discuss crossing international borders. So this is going to be
all the food, the pets, the guns, the whatever.
Passports, alcohol, tobacco, your cannabis. We're going to discuss it all.
We'll go through that then.
And
enjoy it.
It's well, and we'll also discuss getting back into the United States, because a lot of people they fret about Canada, but you've got to get let back in to the U.S. So we'll discuss that. October 28th, the best part of RVing to Alaska.
Canada
is Canada.
It is a beautiful country, and you'll be going through, depending on your route, you'll be going through either Alberta and BC and Yukon, or BC and Yukon. There's a lot to see. Canada is beautiful.
In 2017, we thought we were going to just rush right through Canada and get to Alaska, because that's where we wanted to be. And I think on day one, we realized we needed to slow our go.
Let's slow our roll down a little bit and take a look at this.
Because the Canadian Rockies are absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
The western route through the Cassiar, absolutely beautiful. The Alcan.
Yeah.
And in the spring, it's especially beautiful. I mean, they all have their giveaways and takes, but the baby bears are out, and the moose, and everything's greening up.
Everything green up. All the trees are blossoming.
Still snow on the mountains, but hopefully not on the road.
They had a little bit of that one day. Anyway.
Yeah. But so, yes.
Next.
October 28th, we'll talk everything Canada. And then starting in November, we will welcome you to Alaska and start our subjects on Alaska Matter. And then from there, probably around the holidays, December, we won't be on very much, because we
have a getaway.
We have a getaway planned. We're going to be out of the country and not streaming, because we're going to enjoy our...
We have lives too. We're going to enjoy our lives.
But so December will pretty much be taking off, and then we'll ramp back up in January with more topics up through March, and then people start leaving. So that's when we just sit back and watch the magic happen as people start posting their adventures.
Yep.
But okay, let's dive into questions. We have 10 minutes left.
Is there some questions there for us?
There are. Give me just a quick moment here. I'm going to turn off.
Hey, also, guys, let us know how this set here is appearing to you guys. Do you enjoy it? Do you like it? Maybe I'll change this every day, every video or something like that, and we'll do some different colors and lights and all that. Just let us know how you like the little set we have here, because we're kind of just playing with it.
So I have up on the screen here Richard Primer.
Hi. How are you?
One of our friends that we met.
Yes, we met him in Isabel Pass.
And he says, I'm pretty sure if you want to go into Denali, there's a size limit of 25 feet. And that is incorrect. We've taken our 38-foot, 8-inch RV.
Yes, I believe
all the way to Teklanika.
The cutoff is about 40 feet, 40 feet or less.
So I just wanted to let you know that I think you're under 40. Even you could go in. You just have to leave your toad. But we'll discuss that later.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic.
Okay, let's see here.
Hi, Richard. Hey, 4 roses, single barrel.
Love it. He asked earlier what you were sipping. And I've got a gin that I picked up in Canada. So yes, that's what we're sipping on. Next question. Please put, George asks, please post the 2 coupon books and where to get them. I will
Okay.
do that afterwards in the comment section.
This
So
one says Alaska Tour Saver. You can see that here.
I don't have the Northern Lights book yet because
Well, it wasn't available in 19.
It wasn't available in 19, and who knows? Maybe I can get Chris, the owner of Northern Lights, to send us a book.
Work a little deal too,
and we can do a giveaway.
Maybe we can do a giveaway.
All right, Odie.
Hey, Odie.
Odie Nelson asks, please talk about how you took care of Spirit and Sophie when on tours, and if they could be with you.
I think that's a whole that's like a half a day conversation.
Yeah, I think we'll
talk about pets when we get up there, or when we get a bit further on.
That will be a whole topic in of itself. Every pet is different.
Right.
Our dogs, we are blessed. They have wonderful bladders.
They have great holding power.
We rarely have had an accident.
We did come into some situations with Spirit and a bit of separation anxiety, and she did create a couple little problems, but for the most part, our dogs have been very easy to travel with, and we'll get into more detail about the pets as we go with these topics. Especially
too if you want to take the marine ferries. We're going to discuss pets because they are not allowed to come off the
above deck
car deck.
Yeah.
But our dogs, they just sit at home and wait for us. However, we do know there are a lot of pet sitters in a lot of the towns that you can hire to watch your dogs if your dogs aren't as good as ours in the bladder department.
We'll talk about that later.
All right.
Get on. Next one. Speaking of dogs, I think you hear yours down there somewhere.
Rebecca Miller Deal. If you're boondocking in Alaska, do you recommend having solar, or can you get by with generators?
Solar is great. We love our solar install. If you don't have the time, the funds, the capabilities to install solar, so long as you have a good generator, that's great too. Just make sure that you abide by the common known generator rules. Don't run it late at night, don't run it early in the morning, and just be courteous of your neighbors.
If you have a medical device that requires you to have power all night, then look into some auxiliary battery options.
Right.
So you don't upset the neighbors.
There are ways to get around those medical requirements with different battery packs and such. And we can go into, if you guys want to talk about lithium and solar and this and that, we can have a full conversation about that. I mean, we're pretty well powered with that.
Pretty little knowledge.
A little setup with
I always
lithium.
say that's Gary's department.
Yes.
Charlie Baker, if you could choose, would you take a 24-foot Class C versus a small 19-foot travel trailer and truck?
19-foot travel trailer or a 24-foot Class C?
Sounds about the same.
About the same. Go with what you're more comfortable with. What is gonna be your preferred and most comfortable way of travel? Both of those rigs are very small and can go most everywhere. The big conversations get into, or the big considerations for downsizing have to deal with, am I able to take the smaller rig into more remote locations? Like, for example, Dead Horse. Can I take my Class C to Dead Horse, or can I take my trailer to Dead Horse versus my truck camper to Dead Horse?
Yeah.
So you need to consider where you're going to go in Alaska before you decide which type of RV you want to take.
Honestly, you're going to see every make and brand year
yes.
of RV in Alaska.
Every style.
You're going to see teardrops. You're going to see tenters. You're going to see Prevo buses. You're going to see
everything.
Travel trailers, Class B, everything. Everything you see down here in the lower 48, you're going to see up there. And you're going to see stuff that shocks you up there. The locals know how to RV. And that's another thing. You're going to find the locals outnumber the out-of-staters by far.
I would say on the shoulder end of the season, before and after.
Well, unless you're
mid-season.
Well, I don't know. They like to get out and play. They go fishing.
The locals do.
So
know how to use it.
You're going to see everything. And if you want comfort of your regular rig, by all means, take it. We took our 38-foot Class A motorhome when it was only 6 months old the first time up.
We've taken that thing all the way across the Denali Highway.
It's made
it's not a big
2
deal.
trips to Alaska and back with very little issues. And I can't blame any of the issues on actually RVing to Alaska. It's just stuff happens.
Regardless, this is going to be a trip that's going to probably put 8,000 to 10,000 miles on your odometer. Anytime you travel 8,000 to 10,000 miles anywhere within the lower 48 or Alaska, you're going to have mechanical issues, broken windows, whatever it may be. So it's not just Alaska, it's the fact that you're putting so many miles on your rig in one season.
Okay, Bill Russell asks, what month would offer the best opportunity to actually see Denali Mountain?
We haven't seen it yet. I don't know. Can't tell you.
We've seen like 3/4. It just
depends on the weather. There's no specific month. I don't think that's
why
viewing,
it's a 30% club, because
which we're proud to say we're not part of.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's a day-to-day thing, day-to-day game with Denali. She creates her own weather, and sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not.
Yeah, I don't have an answer because we were near her a lot and still haven't seen her in full glory.
We've seen parts, pieces.
Let's see here.
Next.
I'm looking.
Oh, good.
Okay. Susan Postlewaite. How do you deal with lack of internet in regards to finding boondocking versus compendium and free campsites? Well, Susan, I'm going to answer this one and say we are very little without internet. And we're going to go deep into this later in another live chat, but
there are ways to receive internet for most of your travel.
A jetpack, and there's very few places where we don't receive cell signal. And with our jetpacks, we can stream internet. We have truly unlimited data plans.
And that's a plan that you won't find in the stores. That's a plan that we have access to, that we can help promote to you.
We are an affiliate seller of this, and so we're going to go dive deep into connectivity in a future live chat, probably in November, maybe in January.
We have set our motorhome up with some very high-tech equipment to bring in as much cellular signal as possible, and as well with that, to distribute a Wi-Fi bubble around us for our fellow campers to use if necessary.
Also, if you have AT&T or Verizon, you're pretty well going to have connection. We have found AT&T wins the game.
In the generalities, yes.
We have 1 minute left.
1 minute,
so we're gonna,
last question.
I don't know if we're going to hit everyone's questions.
And we're not going to be able to hit everybody's questions every night.
Larry asked any info about traveling to Tuck. We'll save that for another.
That's a big deal right now.
We didn't make it this year. We wanted to.
We had mechanical issues with the truck.
But we'll talk about it in the future when we talk about off-road trips.
Question. Oh, I see 7 o'clock. One last question. One more question.
I like
find a good one.
All right, good to know. Well, everyone's just saying how they love seeing this. So I guess
that's it then.
It's 7 o'clock. We're going to call it a night. Thank you for joining us with our Season 2, Episode 1 of Alaska Live. Every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Not quite every Monday. There will be some.
Well,
there will be some. We'll kind of try to post a light schedule. Yeah. There will be some times when we're not going to be available on Mondays.
Give us a few minutes to get internet resources uploaded into the chat here, and I will turn on the RVing to Alaska merchandise.
Get your stickers, get your decals. It's a great way to create community on the road. You see that, you know that they're part of this group right here. So go knock on the door and say hi. And well, I'm empty right now, but maybe have a drink with them.
All right, guys. Until next time or next Monday.
Pau Hana, or see ya, or travel to Alaska. What's our out now?
I don't know. We're kind. What is
this is different.
I'll figure it out.
How do we end this?
I don't know. All you guys tell us. How do you want us to end?
See ya.
Bye.
As always, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up down below. Leave us a comment
and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We thank you for watching.
Until next time, Pau Hana.